Today we're going to be taking a look at 75453 Offworld Sandcrawler and Mudhorn. This set just released on August 1st with 1,683 pieces and a retail price of $200, which is definitely on the pricier side for a playset. Now if you didn't know, this set is based off of The Mandalorian Season 1 Episode 2, where he goes to Arvala 7, which is the name of the planet, and encounters some Jawas and their Sandcrawler, and then later has to fight the Mudhorn. Hence why this Sandcrawler is gray and not the normal brown Sandcrawler that we're used to. And I've seen a lot of people complaining about how they don't like that it's gray, but I'm not gonna lie, based on just the front box art alone right here, I think it looks really cool, but obviously I'll have to see when I open the box. And the set even includes gray Jawas, which is also cool because it's just mixing things up a little bit. And then on the left side of the box, you're gonna get this nice little graphic of the Mandalorian and Grogu and Queel. On the back of the box, you're gonna have another nice big graphic of the Sandcrawler, which just looks really good. The landscape is great, the Sandcrawler looks awesome, and then you have the bright blue sky at the top. It all just comes together so nicely. And then of course at the top right, you're gonna have some pictures showcasing the set's play features and functionalities. Opening up the box and digging in, I accidentally opened it upside down, but you're gonna find 14 separately numbered bags, along with a sticker sheet containing 8 stickers, some loose plastic pieces for the Jawa's tints, and then a pretty hefty instruction manual. This thing is pretty long. Taking a look at the minifigures in this set, you get 6 of them, well technically 7, but you'll see what I mean by that here in a minute. Starting off with Grogu here, just to get him out of the way. This is the same new Grogu mold that we've been seeing all year. It's really not special anymore because this figure has came in dang near every set that's released in 2026, but he does have his pram, which he doesn't have in other sets. However, because his arms are down to his side, he does look kind of awkward in there because he can't actually go down into it like he could on the older ones. He kind of just sits on top. Here we have the Muddy Mandalorian, which is probably the most exciting figure in this set, and for the most part, he looks good. I mean, the mud detailing is great. It's on his helmet, it's on his legs. He's also got good arm printing and good back printing. However, he's definitely not as muddy as he should be. There's kind of just like specks of mud on him, as to when you look in the show and he's quite literally covered in mud, like his armor is not even silver anymore. And I know other people have used this example before, but I think back to the Muddy Han Solo from 2018, maybe 2019, pretty sure it's 2018, but that figure is literally covered head to toe completely in mud, and I think this Mandalorian figure pretty much should have been the same way, but instead they just kind of speckled it onto him here and there, which looks good, but in my opinion it's just not good enough. He needs more mud. Here we have the 3 Jawas, and these guys look awesome to me. I think they look great in gray. It's also nice to just have things mixed up a little bit, you know, but as you can see here, they all 3 have different torso printing along with different back printing, which is really nice because it kind of just makes them all individual and makes them unique figures and not all the same. And then if you're curious, underneath their hood is just a black head with red eyes. Really nothing much to see. One thing I do have to say though is that I wish we would have got more of these guys. 3 of them is cool, but I mean, at the end of the day, this is a $200 set, and in the scene we do see quite a few of them, so you know, maybe getting 1 or 2 extra would have been a lot better and a lot more fitting for the set. But then lastly here we have Queel. This is the same exact minifigure that came in the UCS Razor Crest from 2022, the only difference being that in this one they use the molded backpack, and in the Razor Crest they use the brick built backpack. Regardless though, this is a great looking figure with an amazing unique head mold that just looks really good for the character, and his outfit is really nice and fitting too. Overall, this minifigure lineup is good for the most part, but it's not perfect. Again, like I said, I think they should have put more mud printing on Mando, and we should have got more than just 3 Jawas, but other than that, this is a solid figure lineup. It's just, again, not perfect. Moving on to the set itself, this is a very beautiful looking Sandcrawler, but first we of course got to take a look at its price per gram and compare it to the other 2 Playscale Sandcrawlers, excluding the UCS one because obviously it's a UCS set, not a playset. So weighing the Sandcrawler, the Mudhorn, and all the minifigures, I got a weight of 1,235 grams, which with a retail price of $200 comes out to a price per gram of 16.1 cents, which is actually kind of on the higher end for sets that retail for $200 or more. Usually sets in this price range have a price per gram of closer to 15 cents, not 16, so I guess that's something to keep in mind. Regardless though, the 2005 Sandcrawler has a price per gram of 13.6 cents, and the 2018 Sandcrawler was pretty overpriced with a price per gram of 18.7 cents. So this one is about right in the middle, but it is still kind of on the higher end, which does actually back up my complaint that this set should include a few more Jawas for its price point. Taking a look at the Mudhorn here, I'm just going to be blunt. I do not like this thing. But first, I mean, I'll show you what it has to offer. Like, obviously, you can move its limbs, its legs and feet move individually. Its head is also on a ball joint, so it can move side to side and up and down and really in any direction you want it to. It's also got a cool horn piece and some decent looking printed eyes, nothing too crazy. But overall, I'm just not a big fan of how this looks. It's been pretty obvious for a while now that LEGO is starting to move away from the molded creatures in favor of brick-built creatures like the one you see here. And on paper, I'm not necessarily against this. this, I think brick-built creatures are fine, but they just need to look better than this. First of all, the Technic pins being black along with the ball joint connector being gray just throws off the color palette of the build. To this day, I don't understand why LEGO can't make different colored Technic pins. I mean, why can't these be brown or gray? And then on top of that, the Mudhorn itself is just way too small. I mean, when you look at the scene, the thing is ginormous. It's almost twice as tall as Mando, and this build just doesn't even come close to representing that. And I mean, I know at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal because it's just a side build of a creature that in the grand scheme of things is not very popular in Star Wars. But the reason I'm making it a big deal is because if in the future, when LEGO makes a new Rancor or maybe makes the Geonosis Arena creatures, and they're as lazy and underrepresented and small as this one, it's not going to be good. So that's why I'm mentioning this, because I'm almost trying to catch the problem and point it out before it becomes actually a big problem. On the bright side though, now actually moving on to the Sandcrawler itself, this thing is beautiful. I absolutely love the gray color, and then the brown and the tan mixed in looks really good as well. Again, tons of people have been complaining online that this thing is gray and not brown like we're used to, and I'm gonna be honest, just don't listen to any of them. This thing looks freaking awesome. Don't let them tell you it's not cool. It's definitely not perfect by any means, and I'll get into all of that, but on the exterior, it's a really cool looking build. On the back of the build, you're gonna have these two knobs you can turn, and when you turn the top one, it's actually going to open the big front door of the Sandcrawler, which is really cool. It's a pretty simple functionality, but it's just fun to mess around with. And then when you twist the bottom knob, it's actually going to turn the front set of treads side to side, so you can actually use this to steer the Sandcrawler, so to say. And speaking of the treads themselves, they work fine. Since the Sandcrawler is pretty heavy, it does kind of compress them a little bit to where they're kind of hard to get to rotate, but it's not that bad. For the most part, it's a good play feature that works really well, and as you can see here, you can use that knob on the back to steer it side to side. The front of the Sandcrawler looks incredible. The angles they were able to pull off with the plates is honestly pretty impressive. This area was definitely super satisfying to build and see all these angles come together. The bottom side of this front section, or I guess the front door, is unfortunately pretty bland though. There's no detail besides just some floodlights at the bottom, which I guess doesn't really matter because this is on the underside and you don't necessarily see it that much, but I definitely do think it could have some extra greebling on it. And then again, here's what that door looks like when you use the knob on the back to open it up. Again, a really fun play feature, and you can get a glimpse into the interior, which we will take a look at more here in a minute. At the top, you're going to have these yellow transparent pieces, which represent the windows that the Jabba's see out of from the cockpit. And speaking of the cockpit, to access it, you simply just grab this top panel right here and fold it open. And inside the cockpit or the control room, there's really not much to look at. There's simply just one 2x4 stickered control panel and nothing else. Honestly, in my opinion, it's pretty underwhelming. I definitely think they could have included control panels down the sides of the cockpit, kind of like what they did in the 2014 Sandcrawler. On the bright side though, there is more than enough room to fit all three of your Jawas in here. Definitely some room for one or two more Jawas, hence another reason why I think there should be more in this set. The top of the Sandcrawler is loaded with detail. There's a lot more to look at up here than there is on the front, especially towards the back here. The greebling is at a very high level and just looks really good. On the edges, you're going to have these mounted turrets that are stud shooters that are on ball joints, so you can kind of turn them and aim them in any direction you want to. And of course, you can grab your Jawas and mount them behind them and make them look like they're shooting off the edge of the Sandcrawler, which is honestly pretty fun. You also might have noticed the tents up here that are made out of these thin, almost paper-like plastic pieces that are printed, and they're actually made to be removed from the top of the Sandcrawler. They just really easily pop off, and you can sit them on the ground and make it look like the Jawas are having a camp out outside the Sandcrawler, which I think is a great play feature. One thing that is kind of annoying about this top section though are these bright blue Technic pins at the back. For me at least, they're just kind of distracting. Other people might not notice them, but I notice them, and I think it's kind of annoying how they're not a different color. Again, I just don't understand why LEGO only makes Technic pins in blue and black. Like, why can't these be gray? It just doesn't make sense. Regardless though, moving on down to the side of the Sandcrawler, this area is just absolutely loaded with detail. The way they mixed in both the brown tiles and the tan plates with the gray build looks really good. There's also some cool shaping and angles going on here with how the wall pieces fit together. Towards the back, you're going to have a tan sticker, and then at the bottom, you're going to have even more stickers. And like usual, the gray of these stickers is slightly discolored from the gray of the pieces, which isn't good. But in this case, I mean, I guess it is kind of acceptable because it kind of adds to the rustic look that Sandcrawlers are supposed to have. But in general, this shouldn't be happening. I mean, the color of the stickers should match the color of the pieces. On the sides right in the middle, you're also going to find these tan doors. They open inwards and they also don't stay open, so they kind of feel a little bit useless, but it is cool to be able to get a peek into the interior. At the back, you're going to have two more windows on each side, and these ones are on hinges, so they actually stay propped open. And if you look right inside the first window on each side, there's actually a stud kind of hovering there. And this allows you to grab two of your Jawas and actually mount them inside the window and make it look like their heads are popping out, which is just yet another great play feature this set has, and honestly, it makes for some good display options too. Like you might might have noticed earlier, the back of the Sandcrawler is extremely detailed. This is probably the most highly detailed area of the entire build. And I also like the bottom of the back area too. The shaping down here is cool, how it kind of angles inwards. But when looking at the Sandcrawler directly from the back, one thing you might notice is that the build as a whole is really narrow. When you look at it directly from the front and when you look at it directly from the back, and especially when you look at it directly top down like this, it's just extremely narrow. And Sandcrawlers obviously are longer vehicles, but they're also pretty wide too, and the UCS one along with the 2005 model did a really good job at capturing this. But with this one, the narrowness of the build is kind of just making it fall short a little bit, for me at least. Regardless though, moving on to the interior, to access it, you can simply just literally pull the walls off. They are completely removable, as you can see here, and then the panels at the very back just simply fold open. And inside the interior, there's unfortunately not much to look at. There are really three main things inside, that being a cart build, a crate, and then another crate that has a scrapped droid in it. The cart is extremely simple. It's not really anything special to look at. I mean, that doesn't mean it looks bad. It gets the job done. And then as you can see here, you can also attach a crate to the back of it. And inside the crate, there are these blue things. I'm not sure what these are supposed to be. They're probably something from the show that I just forgot about, but they're in there. You're also going to have this scrapped droid build, which I think is actually a really cool inclusion. And like I briefly mentioned earlier, this can technically be considered a 7th minifigure, which I think is kind of a nice hidden feature, so to say. But as for the actual interior of the build goes, really the only thing to see on the inside is this motor right here that has a sticker on it, which I will admit is actually pretty cool. When you turn the knob on the back, you can actually see the gears connected to the motor, and you can also see the chain moving back and forth to open the front door. Definitely a cool and kind of realistic feature. But other than that, there's literally nothing else to see in here. It's very roomy, which is cool, but there's no other features, no other Easter eggs, nothing like that, which in my opinion is kind of disappointing to see, because a Sandcrawler is supposed to have a pretty extensive interior. I mean, they could have included more scrapped droids, they could have included some scrapped ship parts, anything like that, but no, it's just not in here. So yeah, I personally find that a little bit disappointing. Overall, for the most part, this set is really good. Do I think it's worth $200? Probably not, especially considering how lazy the Mudhorn build is, but I just think the Sandcrawler itself looks really good in gray. Again, I think all the people that don't like this set are just power hating, because the build actually looks cool on the exterior. But with that being said, like I've mentioned throughout this video, there is a handful of things that I don't really like about this set, like the lazy Mudhorn build, Mando not having enough mud on him, the lack of extra Jawas, and the underwhelming interior. So while the set looks really cool, it's great to get something different. I love the gray Sandcrawler, I love the gray Jawas. I just can't sit here and pretend that it's perfect. So because of that, I'm feeling a 7.5 out of 10 for this set. Mind you, I gave the AT-AT a 9 out of 10, so that tells you which one I think is better. So let me know what you guys think about it down in the comments below. If you are new, please consider subscribing, and if you want to check out more of my videos, you can see the link on the screen right now.